What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Eclectic Collector channel. I hope that you are all as excited as I am to kick off an all new haul video. As you know, if you follow this channel, I do a haul video once every couple of months, and the last one I did I think was like beginning of January. It was beginning of January, collecting my November, December haul, and now we are going to be doing this one for March, and this is going to collect my January and February haul, and I'm really excited about this haul because I picked up a lot of really good stuff. I got some English volumes, I got some Spanish volumes, I got hardcovers, and I got some soft paperback omnis. I even got a couple comics that I want to talk about with you all, and yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty solid video. Let's kick this thing off. No more wasting any time. We'll jump right into the first volume. So right off the bat, we've got the illustrated guide to Monster Girls, and this is volume 2 of the series. I really liked volume 1 quite a bit. This is released by Yen Press. This series is really good, dude. It reminds me of like Real Monsters meets like Monsters Inc., you know, that sort of a thing. But it's really funny, it's really adorable. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that I talked about this in a video that I did. The first volume of this, I talked about it in a video. Yeah, I mean, if you like kind of like cutesy, irreverent stories about monster girls, or just, yeah, like just cute, irreverent stories that are like really adorable, I don't think that there's any way that this story could offend anybody. I quite enjoyed it, and I think that, yeah, if you like irreverent stories, you will enjoy it as well. Next up, we've got another volume 2. This is Sawada and the House of Monsters, and I adored the first volume of the series. I talked about this in my Favorite Things 2023 video. I even talked about it in a Let's Talk About. Yeah, I did a Let's Talk About Sawada and the House of Monsters. So yeah, I mean, you can check either of those things out if you want more of my thoughts on this series. It's pretty much this girl who was like an orphan, and she joins these dwarves, and they build houses for monsters, and there's like this whole bigger narrative involved with the girl who is Sawada, who is that girl down there. And this series is released by 7 Seas. But yeah, I definitely recommend this if you like sort of like, I guess like the first story that I talked about, you know, like cutesy sort of storytelling, but it's a lot of fun, and like the way the architecture is done is incredible, and there's a lot of detail that goes into it. And I've been watching this show called Delicious in Dungeon on Netflix, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Sawada and House of Monsters, like different things, you know, because that's about food, and this is about like building houses, but I feel like the aesthetic is kind of the same, you know, where like you're brought into this thing, like being an external force that meets with these other sort of characters, and they kind of influence a part of the world. And that's kind of like, you know, what Sawada and the House of Monsters is for Sawada, where she is an external force that meets up with these sorts of strangers, and they kind of influence her in a way, and she gets involved in something that she never imagined that she would be involved with. And yeah, I definitely highly recommend this manga. Alright, so next up, we've got Chainsaw Man, Volume 14. This is one of my favorite series ever. I'm just overall a huge Tatsuki Fujimoto fan. I have a lot of Tatsuki Fujimoto stuff. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure everything that he has released, I'm pretty sure that everything that has been released in English by Tatsuki Fujimoto that has a physical paperback release, I'm pretty sure I own it all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. Like, I've got all the Chainsaw Man volumes so far. I've got his side stories and whatnot that he did. Goodbye, Eri, Look Back, which is getting an anime pretty soon. And overall, I'm just like a massive Tatsuki Fujimoto fan. I've done a bunch of videos about his different series, like Chainsaw Man and some of his other stuff in the back. I did a Tatsuki Fujimoto creator video, so I'm like all over the damn place, you know, with just manga and whatnot, dude. And I love creators that do something that I find to be original, and this is a dude that I've supported for years, man, since like COVID times. You know, I got into his work, and I will always love Tatsuki Fujimoto, even if he does, like, he's said he was going to stop drawing manga or whatever to write novels. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true or not, dude, but I mean, I don't know, whatever he does, I'll support it, because yeah, this is hands down one of my absolute favorite mangaka out. And oh yeah, this is by Viz and Shonen Jump. Alright, next up, we've got Boys Abyss. This is a series that I absolutely love. This was also in my favorite things 2023 video. I even mentioned it in a currently reading video that I did. I think like beginning of the year. I can't even remember anymore. But I don't know what else I can say about the series that I haven't said every single time I talk about it. You will feel dirty as all hell. Like, this is one of those things, dude, where like when you read this manga, you will feel filthy because of how just inappropriate it is, and the characters, it's like reading an Inyo Asano novel, you know what I mean? The characters are all screwed up, and there isn't really any person in this manga that isn't just a horrible person. Or that's not necessarily true, but they're just all like, they all have their demons and whatnot, and the way it's drawn, the way it's set up, the way the situations like play out and whatnot, it feels like you just feel like you're peering into these people's like sordid, just filthy lives, you know what I mean? Like seeing the worst of humanity within the people of this small town. And that is, you know what I mean? Like, that is pretty much Boys Abyss, dude. Yeah, I don't know if I've said, I think this is by Viz. So, yeah, Viz Signature Edition. So, yeah, this is definitely worth checking out. Boys Abyss. Up next, we've got Volume 6 of Yuki Nobutatsu's incredible series. One of my favorite manga that I'm currently reading. Dandadan or Dandadan or whatever. I read this on the Manga Plus app, so I'm like completely caught up to where the manga is currently. And there's an arc that's coming up that I'm not going to go too into because I don't want to start spoiling things. And this isn't a channel where like I try to go out of my way to spoil things unless it's a let's review video. But even in that, I'll tell you like at the beginning of the video that it is a spoiler review video. But I don't want to spoil this series because I absolutely love it and I want people to read it. I've done 2 videos talking about Dandadan. Yeah, I think I did a Let's Talk about Dandadan, and I did a Why You Should Read Dandadan. And I don't really know how to talk about this series, dude, without, like, you know, spoiling it. But pretty much there are characters that are... It kind of revolves around, like, paranormal stuff and, like, aliens, and the two kind of coalesce. And there's a lot of stuff that happens revolving around aliens, and then there's different arcs that take place that are either... It'll be an arc about, like, demons, you know, monsters, whatever, and then there'll be an arc about, like, space aliens. So there is a lot of stuff going on in this manga. It's super irreverent. Yuki Nobutatsu was an assistant for Tatsuki Fujimoto, so if that doesn't tell you everything that needs to be known, I don't know what will, dude. Because, yeah, this story is just absolutely bananas. It is bonkers. Like, just from the get, this thing goes at 100% and just does not stop. Full throttle the whole way through. There's maybe, like, a little bit of a break here or there, and then it's just, like, back to, like, 100%. Just, like that movie Crank, you know what I mean? Just, like, over the top is all hell, and I absolutely love it, dude. So, if you're a person that likes just super chaotic stories, I think you'll like Dandadan. Oh, and this is by Viz Shonen Jump. All right, we've got Under Ninja Volume 3. I absolutely love this series, dude. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my favorite things 2023 video. This is super irreverent. I don't know how else to describe it. This is super irreverent. This is the same dude who did I Am a Hero. I couldn't really personally get into I Am a Hero, but I've been really enjoying Under Ninja. I just feel like the reason that I couldn't get into it with I Am a Hero is because it like spent so much time doing exposition, and I just like couldn't get past it, and I couldn't read beyond like the first like 70 or so pages of I Am a Hero. But Under Ninja from the get has just been a ton of fun. There's even an anime. There's even an anime about Under Ninja. And yeah, I've only read the first volume so far, but I do have volumes 2 and 3, and this is volume 3 right here. And this is released by one of my new favorite publishers, Denpa. They also release Heavenly Delusion, which I absolutely love. And they also release Gaiji, which I need to start reading soon because I'm going to be doing a video about like Death Game manga, so I'll be talking about Gaiji when that comes out. But yeah, pretty much there's this dude who is a ninja, and there's like this... At one point in time, there were like ninja that worked for the Japanese government, and then I forgot what the hell happened. I think it was like around World War II or something. They end up getting disbanded, but only in the public eye do they become disbanded, and they keep working, but like in secret to carry out, you know, like black ops, I guess, missions, if you will, for the government. But they're kind of like a hidden they're kind of like a hidden entity that people, you know, just like everyday people don't really know exist. And there's a lot of like irreverent stuff that happens, including a dude who goes around chopping off penises and whatnot. And yeah, it's pretty brutal, dude. The violence is pretty gruesome, but overall, it's been just an absolute blast to read. So yeah, if you like just super irreverent stuff, like as you can tell from a lot of the stuff that I've talked about already, I am a massive fan of just super irreverent storytelling. So you already know that this is right up my alley. I think it's time we talk about some cultured manga. This is by Ghost Ship. This is Please Go Home, Miss Akutsu. I can't defend picking this up. This is pretty much just like cultured manga, dude. I've read the first 2 volumes of the series. Like, I do enjoy it. It's pretty, you know, aside from what you see going on in the cover here, it's actually like a pretty cute series, and I really like the dynamic between this character right here, Miss Akutsu, and the dude who she pretty much always tortures. She pretty much won't go home. Like, she hangs out at this dude's house like all the time. She's always there, and she annoys the hell out of him. But at the same time, like, you know, he likes it. It's kind of like a it's like a Nagatoro type of thing. Like, was it Please Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, or whatever that series is called. But it kind of reminds me of that. It's like one of those situations where like this chick is like super annoying, but at the same time, you know, like you can tell like the two leads have, you know, like feelings for each other or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty much one of those series. Like, you're really not going to get much out of it beyond that. It does become kind of monotonous in the sense that like it for the most part almost exclusively takes place in this dude's room. I mean, there are parts I think that do take place at school, but for the most part it does take place in this dude's apartment. It's kind of like that one series about the princess, It's Time for Torture Princess or whatever, you know, where it's just like all it takes place in like this torture dungeon and they torture her with food. It's kind of like that, you know, where it's like it all kind of like it's segmented as all hell, but it's all like kind of like the same thing. You know, there's little segments where all mostly for the most part takes place in this dude's room. But if you like, I guess, like cutesy stuff with a girl that looks like that, I think you'll like this series. Like I said, it's a cultured manga. It's not that bad though. Like, as far as I know so far, there's been like no nudity in the first 2 volumes that I've read, so I don't think it's gonna go that far. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's a decent story. It can and probably will get kind of monotonous if you just like read it nonstop. I know I've personally had to like stop reading it halfway through and then read something else and then come back to finish it because of the fact that it does get kind of monotonous. So yeah, check it out if you're into something like this. I want to talk a little bit more about the side of myself that enjoys some of the rom-com stuff, you know, some of the romance manga, because I do have a soft spot for like rom-com and for like romance manga. And this is the final volume of No Matter What You Say. Furi-san is scary, and I like a series that knows when to stop. 5 volumes, and that's the cutoff. I've read like the first 3 volumes of this series, so I still got to read volumes 4 and 5, I think. I'm pretty sure I've read the first 2, at least. I know for a fact that I've read at least the first 2. I can't remember if I've read the 3rd one or not. This is by 7 Seas, and I really like this series. I think she's really adorable. I like her dynamic. The dude who was the lead character, there's this thing that I've talked about. I've been reading rom-com manga video, and there's this thing that is prevalent in all of these stories, and that's that like the lead character is always like the most boring dude out, to where you're like, I don't understand like what any of these girls like find so attractive about this dude. Like, it's the same deal with like Rent a Girlfriend, I guess, if you will. Like, he's annoying as all hell. The lead in that story is super annoying. And like the lead in Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible, like that dude is so invisible to the point that that when he goes to a grocery store, the sliding doors like won't open for him. Like, they don't even register that he exists. And I think it's a play on the fact that like these dudes in these mangas are always like just the most boring, you know, leads out. And they have like these like super cute girls that are like attracted to them or whatever. But I feel like the selling and saving grace of this manga is the lead, Furi-san, who I think is a really cute character, and she's a lot of fun to be around and hang out with because she has this outward appearance, right, that she's just like really mean and nasty, and on the inside she's really cute and really adorable and really kind. And yeah, I mean, if you're into like rom-com sort of stuff, I mean, this is like 5 volumes. I don't think you could go wrong with checking this one out. Alright, let's just knock out all the rest of the rom-com manga that I've got here so we can move on to like the more seinen, so we can move on to like the more seinen stuff and the more adult-oriented stuff. We got In the Name of the Mermaid Princess. I'm gonna be doing a video about this series probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, maybe a month, give or take, because I'm going to be doing it for my currently reading. I'm going to be talking about this for my currently reading spring video, so I haven't read it yet because like I said, I'm doing it for a video, but I kind of flipped through it a little bit and looked at the art and whatnot. It kind of reminds me of like The Little Mermaid, obviously, you know, that's like the first thing that comes to mind. And with those ears that she's got right there, kind of even reminds me of Chobits. And like if you open the manga up and you like look at her character, the way it's drawn in the manga, she like legitimately looks like the girl, like the she kind of looks like the girl from Chobits. And I haven't started Chobits either, but I do want to. It's on my to be read shelf, so hopefully soon, because I want to start doing videos about older series. And there's this video type that I want to do called From the Vault, and I've talked about it before in other videos, but I'm going to start doing a video type called From the Vault, and I'm going to be doing Mysterious Girlfriend X. I want to do Chobits, and I want to do other stuff. I'm going to talk about 7 Billion Needles. I've been going on about 7 Billion Needles forever as well, so hopefully soon I'll be able to, you know, get the ball rolling on that. And yeah, it's a big thing that I want to start doing on the channel. I want to change it up, you know, like making new video types and whatnot, and having a lot of different stuff going on that all revolves around manga. I want to keep it, you know, fresh for the most part. So alright, we've got by Viz and Shoujo Beat by Io Sakisaka, who has also done like Haru Ride, or however that manga is pronounced. That's a manga that I've been wanting to read for a while that I just like keep not picking up. Maybe I will after this. Maybe I'll finally like order it, because I think that series is complete now. But yeah, by Io Sakisaka, we got Sakura Saku Volume 2, and I really liked Volume 1 quite a bit. I did a video about Volume 1. I think this is a really good series. It's like a shoujo manga, but it, for the most part, like Volume 1 didn't do the rom-com thing the way that I thought it was going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was going to be like just like a straight-up romance manga, you know, where like these two leads meet or whatever, and like they fall in love like within like seconds of meeting or whatever. Like it seems to be the case, you know, with like a lot of rom-com and just like romance manga and whatnot. But Volume 1 really felt like this character coming to terms with who she is, and kind of like doing some soul searching, you know, kind of discovering like who she is as like this young girl growing up or whatever. And I really liked that a lot, because I'm a fan of like stories where you get to know the characters, you know what I mean? Like where you spend a lot of time with them and you watch them grow into, you know, like, I guess, better versions of themselves or whatever. And that's kind of what that felt like. And I'm hoping that this will be more of that. You know, maybe it'll be his turn, you know, to do some growing and whatnot, and, you know, kind of coming into his own. Because I really like that kind of storytelling. You know, I like to grow with the character, to see, you know, who they become and whatnot. And it's not just like, oh my god, I like this person so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if that's in there. Like, I don't mind that. I mean, I've already, you know, established that I like romance and rom-com manga, but I like, you know, that idea of it, you know, being more about this character finding themselves. And yeah, I mean, hopefully I enjoyed Volume 2 as much as I did Volume 1. One thing I will say is the art in these stories is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to starting Volume 2 at some point. Alright, so I had to change shirts. It is extremely hot in this room. I turn off the AC when I record so that, you know, there isn't like a lot of background noise. I'm sure there's like random background noise in these videos, but I'd rather not have, you know, the noise I'd rather not have the noise of like the air conditioner turning on and off, and it just like completely changing the ambiance of the way that these videos sound. But you know, getting back to the point at hand. Next up, we've got Kowloon Generic Romance, and this is by Yen Press. I love this series, dude. I've read the first 2 volumes of it so far. Really looking forward to getting into Volume 3 and continuing this journey that, as we've been going on, there's been some sort of developments that are kind of changing the way that I'm looking at the story. And I don't want to say too much, you know, for maybe anybody that hasn't read it, that's maybe thinking about picking this series up. And the same mangaka also did another series called, I think, After the Rain, which I also own. I got like the whole set of volumes 1 through 5 in my last haul that I did, which I think was, yeah, my November December haul. I picked up the whole set for After the Rain, so hopefully I'll pick that. Hopefully I'll start reading that at some point and maybe try to like make a video about it or something. I really like Jun Mayuzuki's artwork with this series, and if you don't know anything about this, it's kind of like in China there was this place called Kowloon at one point in time in like the 80s, 90s or whatever, that was eventually razed to the ground. And this series takes place in like a kind of like a futuristic sort of Kowloon, and there is a lot of like stuff going on around, based around like nostalgia and whatnot. And yeah, like I said, it's like super futuristic in a sense, but it's like, I want to say kind of like utopian. And I don't want to get too into the elements of it because I don't want to like, start spoiling your experience, with this story if you haven't picked it up. But from what I've read so far in the first 2 volumes, I've absolutely loved it. Like I said, the artwork is one of the biggest draws of it. This character right here, Reiko, I think is her name, if I'm not mistaken. She's a lot of fun to hang out with. Her co-worker is a lot of fun to hang out with as well. The characters in it are just like a blast to be around. And I feel like you get lost in the pages of this story. And that's a great thing, you know what I mean? For a story to be able to do is to, envelop you so much that you feel like you're in the world with the characters and you kind of like take that home with you in a sense, you know what I mean? And yeah, I feel like this story does that. And I do recommend it if you're into, if you're into like, I guess like a sort of utopian sort of a setting, with a core romance aspect also enveloped into it, and just kind of like living your life in a sort of, I don't know, I guess like futuristic sort of landscape. So yeah, it's an interesting story. Alright, so next up we've got A Kingdom of Quartz, and this is by Kodansha. I really don't know anything about this series. All I know is it's like some girl who wanted to be like an angel or something like that, and I think at some point she gets to join the angels. But it looks like it may get kind of dark. I flipped through it a little bit just to kind of get an idea of this series, and the art is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really looking forward to starting this thing. Like I said, I really don't know much about it, but I think I have this planned for a video. I'm not quite sure yet. So regardless, for the most part, this is a channel where I try to make videos about as much of the manga that I own as I can. And I don't just like to collect things just for the hell of collecting them. You know what I mean? I know I pick up a lot of manga, but I'm always trying to do something with it. I'm always trying to make videos with it. And it's not just like I'm just picking it up and, that's it. And nothing happens with it. And yeah, it's important to me, to be able to be constantly, making content for this channel and to show love for these creators and to, possibly get other people into some of these series. And every time I do a video, I feel like it's an ode, it's like a sign of love for the creation of manga and for the creators of these series, a lot of which, there's a lot of stuff that I would have probably never read or never even thought to read if not for recommendations from people that watch these videos and, from kind of trying to go out of my way to read different stuff, to have, different things to talk about and whatnot. So yeah, this is something that I definitely want to read. And once I do, I'll find some way or another to, to get my thoughts out about it. Because I like to do that. I like to talk about series that seem a little odd and they may not always get a lot of views. And I'm okay with that. Like, I don't make these videos to try to like maximize my views. I usually make videos about things that I want to talk about, even if it only ever breaks like 70 views or something. You know what I mean? It's like, I wanted to talk about the series, so I made a video about it. And that may be like one of these right here. This may not, if I do a video about this, it may never get like more than like 100 views. It might not even break 100 views. But it's something that I would want to talk about, so that's enough for me. And yeah, we'll see. If you've read it, I'd love to know what you think. So on to the next one. So this is a series that I've really wanted to read, and this is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You by Square Enix manga. This is one of those series that like I've had my eye on for a really long time, and I don't know why. I think it's just because I like the way that those two characters look. You know, they look like such delinquents. You know, he looks like how do I say this? He looks kind of like Roku Denashi. I don't know how to pronounce that. Even though he's probably just like a businessman, but it's just like his whole aesthetic kind of gives off like Yakuza. And I don't know, I really like her a lot. I like the way she looks. I don't know anything about this manga. I'm purposefully going in blind. I don't know what their names. I don't know what it's about. I haven't read the back panel there, so I have no idea what the series is about. But it looks like it's like right up my alley. It looks like I'm gonna really enjoy this thing, so I'm like really excited to jump into it. So I'm gonna be starting it pretty soon. I got a video coming up after this one about or I got a video coming up after this one right now that you're currently watching, which is going to be my second "Hey, have you read?" video, and I've got 5 volumes of manga all picked out and whatnot, ready to go. So that video should hopefully drop sometime in March, probably like maybe the following week after this video that you're watching right now drops. I should hopefully be able to get out my "Hey, have you read?" part 2 video. And I did the first "Hey, have you read?" video forever ago, and it feels pretty wild that like a year later, or more than a year later, I'm going to be finally dropping part 2 of that series. And after that, I'm going to be doing smoking behind the supermarket with you, because I really want to read this, and I've been putting off reading it just so that I can read it for that video. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Next up, we've got Oshinoko. This is by Yen Press. This is a series that like I went into it at first and I couldn't really get into it. I read the first part of the first volume and I just wasn't feeling it. But then I decided to like power through it. I ended up finishing the first volume. Ended up actually really liking it by the end of it. And then volume 2 I actually really enjoyed as well. I like what this story kind of represents, and like how it brings to light, like the shady side of, like being in talent, being a talent in Japan and being like an idol, and kind of like the dangers of idol culture. And right there we got Perfect Blue, which also is, in a sense, a look at like a hyper look at, idol culture and, obsessiveness or whatever. And there's a lot more, going on with Perfect Blue than there is with Oshinoko. But, no, I do like that, like that it looks at, it puts like a magnifying glass, on idol culture. And I think there's things in this manga that are based on like true events. And I don't really know what, parts of it, because I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to get spoiled, because I don't think I've read volume 3 yet. I think I need to read volume 3. But, yeah, I've read the first 2 volumes of the series, and I definitely want to see, where it's going to go, but I don't want to look at too much stuff, because I don't want to be spoiled, because it'll probably end up in the long term ruining, the surprises and my experience with the story. But yeah, pretty much same dude who made Kaguya-sama Love is War, along with another creator that I don't really know anything by, but I want to see where it's going to go. And if you've read this or seen the anime or whatever, I'd love to know what you think about it. And like I said before, like I've said a bunch of times already in this video, whatever you read, whatever you're currently reading, feel free to drop it in the comments. Let us know what you got going on. Alright, so we got another blind buy. This is Ako and Bambi. And I think this dude is followed around by like a ghost girl. And it kind of, the idea of that kind of reminded me of, Anohana, the flowers we saw that day, which is one of the most heartbreaking things that I've ever personally read. But yeah, that premise alone kind of piqued my interest, and I kind of like this artwork right here on the cover. Like it feels kind of melancholic, I guess, if you will. Like almost like transparent, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with this. I like picking up random series that, as far as I know, I haven't seen anybody talk about them. And this is something that I just randomly saw, and it was a blind buy. I don't know what it's about, other than, like, I think it's this kid and like some girl who is a ghost or whatever. And that's kind of enough for me. That kind of sold me on it. And I like that it looks like it might be a little depressing. because for whatever reason I have a thing for being depressed and reading depressing manga. So yeah, let's see where this one's gonna go. Alright, so up next by Viz Signature, we've got Heart Gear Volume 3. I've loved this series, dude. This is one of those things that, like, I read the first volume and just absolutely fell in love. It reminds me of, like, Neuromancer, you know, like, William Gibson's Neuromancer, like Philip K. Dick's, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, you know, that sort of stuff. I have nothing but praise for this series. I talked about it in a currently reading video, if I'm not mistaken, and I also mentioned it in my favorite things 2023 video. I really don't know what else I can say about it that I haven't already said. If you want my honest opinions about this series, you can check out those videos. They're on the channel. Yeah, I don't want to, like, you know, keep repeating myself about it, but pretty much there is this girl and this dude who is, like, an android, and they fight other androids, or rather the dude who is the android fights other androids. The artwork really reminds me of, like, Blam by Tsutomu Nihei, which is another plus. And one of my favorite things about this manga is the character designs. I think that the characters in this are super well designed. The way they look is super sleek. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous. There's, like, breakdowns about, like, different, you know, cogs or whatever that they use, and I like the attention to detail. That's one of my favorite things in the story. And this is the same creator who did Black Torch. So if you've read Black Torch and you were a fan of Black Torch, I just picked that up myself recently. I think in my last haul, I picked up Black Torch. So having read this, I think I'm going to love Black Torch now. I know it's like a completely different series, and I have seen artwork from Black Torch, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I have no doubt that Black Torch is going to be amazing after having read at least the first volume of this, and I'm looking at starting volume 2 hopefully pretty soon, and I do want to really badly do another video about Heart Gear. And that's another thing that I want to mention really quick before I forget, because I was going to mention it earlier and I completely spaced out. Is that something you all would like to see on this channel? Do you want me to go back? Would you like to see me go back over series that I've done like one video about? Because it's something that I've been thinking about doing. It's like going back and doing newer videos about series where, like, maybe I did a video about it like a year ago or 2 years ago. Because there's some stuff that, like, I talked about like 2 years ago that, like, I really want to go back and do a new video about. Not so much because, like, I'm running out of ideas and I want to retread, you know, what I've already talked about. It's just that, like, I've read on, you know what I mean? And, like, the ideas, the thoughts or whatever that I had 2 years ago may not be the thoughts that I have now in 2024. And I feel like my whole setup now and the way that I record my videos now is a lot better, you know, than the way that I was recording my videos like 2 years ago. And I feel like everything all around, the audio and all that, sounds a lot cleaner now than it did, you know, like 2 years ago and whatnot. And there's certain videos that had like 20 views, you know, because of the fact that I just dropped them forever ago, that I feel like would do a lot better now and get a lot more views now. Not that, like, you know, I'm doing it for views. I'm doing it because I want to and because I want to share it with people. But I mean, if it's something you'd like to see, because I am doing From the Vault, which will be things that I haven't talked about yet that I really do want to talk about, but I also want to, like, kind of bring back series that I have already talked about and maybe do a newer video about them, like Fire Punch up there. Like, I'll maybe do a new one about Fire Punch because I did 2 videos about it like 2 years ago. Maybe do a new video, you know, maybe reread Fire Punch and do my thoughts about it now, you know. Now that I've read a lot more manga than I had read at the time, you know, when I did that video. I think that would be a cool, you know, I think that would be a cool idea, something to maybe, you know, bring back older series that I talked about and, you know, share where my opinions about them are now, or like even what I've read so far of those series and where I stand with them. So if that's something you'd like to see, please let me know. Or if there's any video types or any manga or whatever that you want to see me talk about, yeah, feel free to mention them down below. Alright, so next up we've got Gachi Akuta. This is by Kodansha. Alright, so I'm going into I'm going into this one blind. I don't know anything about Gachi Akuta. I know that people really like this series. I know that there is a pretty significant cult following and that people were really excited for this to have a physical release. And given that, I am also excited to read it, to check it out. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about this in my upcoming currently reading video for spring. So I'm definitely going to be reading it pretty soon. I'm going to be reading this, the one about the mermaid, and some other stuff that came out this year that I don't think I've gotten to yet. But yeah, I mean, I really like that artwork. I don't know, this kid lived, or like there's some floating city up in the clouds, like Columbia, like Columbia in BioShock Infinite. You know, there's a city up in the sky or whatever. Like there's a lot of stories that have that sort of a thing. I think what was that damn movie with Matt Damon? I forgot what it was called, but I'll put it over here somewhere. There's that one, and then there's like there's the one Battle Angel Alita also had like I guess like a floating city in the sky or whatever. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this is gonna go, and like I love just the whole artwork. It looks like really unhinged. That's what sold me, dude. Like just the artwork and the chains around this dude look really unhinged. Kind of reminds me of like Dead Man Wonderland. So that's enough for me to be 100% interested. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this is gonna go, and I will 100% be reading it pretty soon. So you'll have my thoughts in that upcoming video. Alrighty, we got Chain Soldier Volume 6. I really liked the series quite a bit. I've read the first 4 volumes of the manga. I've even started watching the anime. I don't feel like the anime does it like a ton of justice, because it loses a lot of like the art in, you know, translation. It's not the same. Like it's a little more, I guess, basic, you know, in the art sense, where it loses a lot of like the strokes, I guess, if you will, the way that the characters are designed and whatnot. And the manga is actually really good. You know what I mean? I didn't like it at first, but it's kind of really grown on me. This is by Yen Press, by the way. The artwork has really grown on me. I mean, the story itself has really grown on me. The artwork, for the most part, I think from like the get, has been pretty solid. And I really like, you know, the direction that it's headed in, where we're getting to see more of the other side of the threat that, you know, these characters right here fight against. And there's like this dude who gets sucked into this thing with these girls who essentially fight like demons or whatever, these things called, I think, Mato or Mako or whatever. I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I think that if you are a cultured individual, you will like it, because there is some pretty adult situations in this manga, but it's not the only thing that happens in it. I mean, it definitely happens. There's manga that's like way worse. It's not nearly as bad as that. I think the story is actually pretty decent, and the characters are a lot of fun. I like everybody involved, even the lead. I like him as well. And typically when it comes to like rom-com sort of stuff, or, you know, wish fulfillment manga, I'm not a huge fan of the lead, but I actually like the lead in this. I think he's a decent character. So yeah, I think if you are a cultured person, if you are a cultured individual, I think that you may like Chain Soldier. Alright, by 7 Seas, we got even more cultured manga. This is The White Mage Doesn't Want to Raise the Hero's Level. This is volume 1 of this series. What sold me on this is I really like the artwork for this. I look at like really shiny, cute artwork or whatever, and it appeals to me. There are certain series that are kind of like this, you know, where it's like degenerate manga that I'm just not personally really interested in. Like, Do You Like Big Girls or whatever that series is called? I pass on that. I'm really not super interested in it. I started reading Parallel Paradise as well. I read the first volume of Parallel Paradise and just didn't want to keep reading it. But hopefully I like this one. I think it's cute. I don't know. I guess it's like the whole thing is that like she has a thing for this character right here, and she doesn't want to raise this character's level because she doesn't want them to, I guess, grow stronger or whatever. So it seems like it's probably going to be like a really adorable manga. Kind of, for whatever reason, it makes me think of Don Machi. Though Don Machi is actually like a really good series that I really need to get back into myself. Like I said, I really like the artwork, so that's enough for me. I'm going into it blind. I'm going to be talking about it in my spring video, so hopefully I do enjoy it. Because if I don't enjoy it, I'll probably get rid of it, give it to one of my friends or something. And yeah, so we'll see. Alright, we've got Soloist in a Cage, Volume 3. This is one of those series that was recommended to me by one of my subscribers, and I just absolutely fell in love with this character right here, Chloe. I'm currently reading this creator's Shido Moriya's new story on the Manga Plus app, which is Astro Baby. I've read like the first 3 chapters of that series. That's all that's out as of the making of this video. Only the first 3 chapters are out, but I think by the time this video comes out, chapter 4 should maybe be out. But yeah, I've really liked Astro Baby. I plan on doing a first impressions video about that manga at some point. But yeah, I still haven't read the last volume of Soloist in a Cage, just because like I like to read things, you know, close to when I plan on dropping a video about them. And since I'm not really looking at dropping a video about Soloist in a Cage just yet, I'm not doing my video. But I do have a video planned for Soloist in a Cage Volume 3. So once not Volume 3, but just in general, just the series. Once I have finished Volume 3, I'm going to be recording, you know, like recording, you know, a video about this series, because I've got nothing but praise for it. I think this was like in my top, you know, of my top 24. And this is by 7 Seas, by the way. And yeah, this was like in my top of my top 24. I'm sorry, this is in my top of my top 23. So yeah, I mean, I have nothing but praise for it. And yeah, hopefully soon I'll be able to do that video. And pretty much, if you like really stark, really dark storytelling, right off the bat going into it, you don't even think it's going to be as brutal as it is, and it definitely comes out of like left field, and definitely took me by surprise personally. But I have nothing but praise for it, so I'm definitely looking forward to finally knocking out the final volume and seeing how this incredible masterpiece of a story is going to end. Next up, we've got Steel of the Celestial Shadow, and this is by Viz Signature, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Viz Signature. This is one that I found out about through Viz. I follow Viz on Instagram, and I saw that they posted about it, and they posted like a reel or something about this manga, and it really piqued my interest. So pretty much, I think that she's like death or something, and she brings back this dude who was like, I guess like a Ronin or whatever. Don't quote me, because I'm not sure if that's really what it's about. I'm kind of going in a little bit blind. I'm just like, all I saw was that reel that Viz made, and that really piqued my interest. So I really want to read this thing. It looks like it's going to be a really interesting manga to check out, and I am going to be talking about this in my spring video as well. So I'll give you more of my thoughts, you know, on it once I do that. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be an incredible read, and hopefully, you know, this might end up being, you know, on my top, you know, 2024 list whenever that drops. Because so far from what I've seen of the artwork and this cover right here, it just really piqued my interest, really sold me. And I'm a fan of like samurai, Ronin, whatever, you know, stories. So I think, yeah, this is gonna be a one to look out for. All right, next up, by Peter Richardson, under the Zombie Makeout Club banner, we've got Death Head. And this is by Ablaze Manga. I did an independent creators video, Mangaka Spotlight, independent creators. And one of the creators that I talked about was Peter Richardson. And I talked about this series right here. Well, I talked about the first part of the series, which was Death Wish, I think. Yeah, Death Wish. And then this is Death Head, which is the follow-up. I don't know if it's all connected or not, but I really liked Death Wish, so I'm looking forward to starting Death Head. What I will say is the story in Death Wish is a little convoluted, doesn't really make a ton of sense, but I've been told that as it goes on, that I'm not sure if this one right here or if the follow-up to this one is going to have a little bit more of, you know, bringing it in and kind of tying certain bows together, you know, and making certain things make a lot more sense or whatever. But hopefully that's the case, because I really liked, I loved the artwork in the last one, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. And yeah, I mean, I don't own any Zombie Makeout Club clothing, but I really like the manga, and I really like the way that Peter Richardson, you know, like draws these characters and like the whole situations that they're in. And there was like a short story, like yeah, like it was super duper like short story in Death Head and Death Wish that I really enjoyed towards the end of the manga about like a crow. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where Death Head is going to go and seeing more of that just over the top, super duper gory artwork. If that's something that you're into, I think you should definitely check out Zombie Makeout Club. Probably check out Death Wish first, or pick them both up at the same time, you know, get Death Wish and Death Head, you know, at the same time. Alright, so we've got Origin Volume 2 by Boichi, and this is by Kodansha. Dude, I just absolutely loved the first volume of this manga. I read it for my Hey Have You Read video that I got coming up, and dude, it was just, I kind of in a sense I'm bummed, you know, kind of like upset with myself that I waited so long to read it. And I'd mentioned before when I was talking about Heart Gear that there was another manga that like really reminded me of like Heart Gear, and that's Origin. This feels like parts Blade Runner 2049 and parts just like Philip K. Dick, Neuromancer, whatever. Though there is a thing in this called Asimov something. Like the novelist Isaac Asimov, he did the Foundation book series. He did iRobot. I don't know if I mentioned iRobot yet or not, but I think he did that. I could be mistaken on if he did that or not. I like that it includes, you know, like callbacks to those things, and that it shows like it was inspired by, you know, like cyberpunk and whatnot. So really enjoyed it quite a bit, the first volume, so I'm really looking forward to getting into volume 2. Boichi has such an interesting, unique, you know, way of doing things, from like this to Sun Can Rock, and then he also draws Dr. Stone. So I don't think he writes Dr. Stone, I think he's just the artist for that series. But he has such a distinctive, such a unique, really sleek, like beautiful style, really gorgeous artwork. So I'm really looking forward to starting volume 2. If you're a fan of like Heart Gear and just kind of like that whole aesthetic and the way that those characters look, I think you're going to love Origin, because I personally loved the first volume of Origin, and I can't wait to talk about it in my upcoming Hey Have You Read video. We got some reincarnation manga here with Blood Blade Volume 1, and this is pretty much like Dracula gets reincarnated as a Yakuza schoolgirl. That's what it made me think of, but pretty much, yeah, Dracula's reincarnated as a young girl, and I really like the gloves she's wearing, and you can see the nails there. But I don't know, dude, I'm all about it. I like that there is like fire in the background. I like the little fang right there, her earring with the cross and whatnot. I don't know, dude, I think I'm gonna love this series. I really do think I'm going to love this series. I think I'm going to be talking about this in an upcoming video, but that's what sold me. That's what sold me, dude, is that like Dracula's going to be reborn as this girl or whatever, and it's just, I don't know, dude, I'm 100% on board, and I can't wait to start this. I really don't know what else to say about it. This is by Kodansha, so yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. So the last of these small paperbacks is going to be MBQ by Felipe Smith, and this is one of my favorite creators. This dude's done comics, American comics, and he's done manga. He's done manga in Japanese. In Japan, he created a series called Pipochu that he essentially wrote in Japanese, and I'm not sure if he also translated it to English himself or not. But I feel really lucky to have these by Tokyo Pop. This is, I think, the first manga that he drew, if I'm not mistaken. Right here, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3 of MBQ. And I hope that Felipe Smith, you know, gets back to doing manga, that he does something else, because yeah, he did Pipochu, he's done this, and then also have a comic book that he recently released. And I actually talked about Felipe Smith in my my creator video that I did, my Mangaka Spotlight Independent Creators video. So yeah, this is a dude that I definitely highly recommend checking out his work. I would definitely highly recommend checking out Beepochu, because I think that it has some pretty good points about the way that people in the West view Japan, and I guess sometimes the way that maybe people in Japan view the West. So I think that it's a really good manga to show the differences in culture and whatnot. So I really look forward to starting MBQ, and I just wanted to own it because like I wanted to just complete my, I guess, Philippa Smith collection, even though I don't even know if this kind of completes his collection, but these are the first two manga series that I own by him, so yeah, we'll see. We got Cells at Work, the second omnibus of Cells at Work. I'm really hoping that we get Code Black at some point. Hopefully, once this whole first part, of the original Cells at Work series, maybe once all of this is, dropped in an omnibus, we'll finally get, hopefully we'll get Code Black next. And this is by Kodansha. These things are absolutely huge. I love having this thing on the shelf. I'm a huge fan of these, these big Omni volumes. And now we are on to the Omni part of the video, and this is a pretty short part because there's only two of these softcover Omnis that I have, and the other one is Fairy Tail, the second Omni. This collects, I guess, volumes 4 through 6, and this one collects also, I think, 4 through 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this one also collects 4 through 6 of Cells at Work, and these are both by Kodansha. So I may, once I make my space, make a little bit more sense, where I can kind of get things situated, I might have these two next to each other, because I really like having Omnis right next to each other. Like if you watched my my tour video that I did from the beginning of the year, that just kind of covered everything that I'd had, from when I started collecting up until the end of 2023. I had a bunch of my Omnis kind of on the same shelf, and I really like the way that looks, you know what I mean? I like having my Omnis on a shelf together. So we're going to move on to my hardcovers that I recently picked up, and then from there we will move on to the Spanish manga that I picked up recently, and then we will close the video out with a couple of comics. So I hope that you're enjoying yourselves. I'm sorry that this video got massive. I don't know how my videos always end up being huge, and then there's channels that legit will pick up 200 volumes of manga and their videos will be 40 minutes. I don't know how. Maybe it's just because I never shut up, but yeah, let's knock this video out. Alright, so let's do two Kazuo Ume's volumes back to back. Right here we've got My Name is Shingo. I've been really looking forward to this because I'm a big fan of Kazuo Ume's. I really like his artwork, and I'm a big fan of the Cat-Eyed Boy. I read the first volume of that, and I did a video about it, of the newly released hardcovers of Cat-Eyed Boy. And I really don't know much about this, so I'm not going to say that I do, but I'm going to be reading it pretty soon because I want to do a lot of stuff for Halloween. So I'm going to be reading this, maybe potentially, around Halloween, or maybe even before Halloween, but not really so much Halloween, but just October in general. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, everything that gets dropped in English by Kazuo Ume's, by Viz, I will 100% be picking up. And then we got Cat-Eyed Boy, Volume 2 of this Omni, and I think this completes Cat-Eyed Boy, if I'm not mistaken. Really happy to have this. I loved the first volume of these Omnis for Cat-Eyed Boy. At first, I wasn't too in love with it because the art is super dated. I did a video about Cat-Eyed Boy. Yeah, I think it was Cat-Eyed Boy is Terrifying or something. And yeah, it is actually kind of a freaky story. The first part of the series was kind of not that great, but it got a lot better as it kept going, and I actually really ended up liking it a lot by the end of it. And this, I think, continues from the last story, which is about 100 demons or whatever, I think, or 100 monsters. I think this picks up, where that story ended, so I think that'll be part 2 of that, and it'll follow into whatever other stories, Ume's had done about the Cat-Eyed Boy. This is one that I really wanted to read. This is by Taiyo Matsumoto, who's done number 5, and he also did Tech on Concrete, which is like a cult classic series that's had an anime, film, and the manga version that we all know. And this is another series that Taiyo Matsumoto has done. For whatever reason, this kind of reminds me of like My Dinner with Andre, if you know anything about like older films and whatnot. There's a part in here where this dude goes on about manga, and I really connected with that. I haven't read it yet, but I saw that scene, and when I saw that scene, I was like, all right, I have to buy this manga now, because like I really connected with the way that it played out and whatnot, and it made me think of like My Dinner with Andre. So I don't know, I just really like that artwork too. I like the way that this cover looks. It looks like a painting, which I'm sure this was actually a painting or whatever, but if you own this manga, you know, or like if you go to like Books A Million or Barnes and Noble or whatever, you know, like you look at it in person, it really looks like a canvas, which I didn't even really think about until right now that I'm looking at it. But I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I do have a video planned for this, and maybe at some point I'll even just do like a Taiyo Matsumoto creator video. I think that would be cool, you know, because like I feel like he's maybe like a sort of underrated creator. Somebody that's been around for a really long time and has probably influenced creators that you personally like, that I personally like. And, you know, a lot of people maybe haven't really, you know, read Taiyo Matsumoto because it's not like a super hype, like he doesn't do like really super hype, you know, manga series or whatever. I feel like his stuff is like really introspective. Except for maybe like Tech on Concrete. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting this. And like I said, I'm planning on doing a video about it. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. All right, we've got a whole bunch of Chobits. We've got volume 2 right here of Chobits. And this is by Kodansha. This is in the Kodansha Classics line. So, yeah, we got volume 2 there. We've got volume 3 here. And then we've got the 4th and final volume of Chobits. And these are the 20th edition. I'm sorry, these are the 20th anniversary editions of this manga. So I'll show these to you right here so you can check them out. And there they are. I love the artwork on these. Like the raised engravings here are really cool. I kind of want to pick up the Vinland Saga like hardcover one, even though I literally have those smaller hardcover ones up there. I just like the way it looks, dude, and it's just like I already know that it's just like wasting money for the hell of wasting money. Unless I sell those and like, you know, pick up the other ones. But that's also by Kodansha. Yeah, dude, this is a series that I really want to read. I've known about Chobits forever, literally forever, man. I almost watched the anime back when, but I never did for whatever reason. And I'm kind of surprised I never did because like I like cutesy stuff, and I've, you know, already made. I feel like I've made that fully aware with a lot of the stuff that I picked up in this haul and the stuff that I picked up in other hauls. And I'm like a really open-minded sort of a person, and I take a lot of pride in being super open-minded. And yeah, you know, with these I finally have the whole set. So hopefully, you know, once I read volume 1 or something, I'll knock out a video about Chobits and give you my thoughts, you know, on it. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna enjoy it because it's one of those series that came out when I was a teenager, and a lot of the stuff that came out around that time period, like I kind of have like a nostalgic thing for, you know. Because it definitely reminds me of when I was a teenager and whatnot, and I've hit that age where like I'm all about nostalgia. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting Chobits. Alrighty, we are on to the Espanol side of things, and I'm super fortunate to be a person who is bilingual, and I've been learning Japanese on and off for a long time, so hopefully one day I'll be able to say that I am trilingual. But these are in Spanish. These are by Ivrier, or however you pronounce that name. This is a Spanish publisher, and I've been super fortunate that there's a lot of stuff that gets published in Spanish that, for whatever reason, just maybe doesn't get picked up in English because maybe they can't find a distribution, or maybe whoever has tried to pick it up, the publisher doesn't want to, you know, sell them the rights, or whoever the rights holder is doesn't want to maybe sell them the rights in English. Hopefully one day, you know, stories like Kingdom do get an official English translation, you know, because I mean people are reading these mangas, dude, but they're reading them on scan sites, and I feel like there's a market there for these stories, and I don't know, you know, the reason why they're not getting picked up. There could be any number of reasons, and maybe there are, you know, publishers that have tried to, you know, like pick up Kingdom and pick up all these other series that aren't in English, like Jagan and whatnot. And you know, there's any multitude, you know, of reasons as to why they haven't been able to pick them up if they have been trying to pick them up. You know, so hopefully, you know, one day things like this and like Jagan, Sun Can Rock, you know, by Boichi. I mean, the fact that Origin is now being, you know, put out in English, that gives me hope that maybe one day we'll get Wallman and we'll get Sun Can Rock and whatnot, since we are getting Origin now in English. And yeah, maybe one day we'll get Kingdom in English. But in the meantime, I'll be able to, like, you know, pick up the Spanish volumes. I picked up the first 3 just to see how I feel about this story. I've heard really good things about it, so that's got me really hype to start this. And I'm gonna be doing a video about like a bunch of the Spanish manga that I own, kind of like saying that it'd be cool to see these specific volumes in English. But I'm not gonna do that until I've actually read each of them, and I've read 2 of them so far. I'm going to be reading Kingdom, at least the first volume, at some point as a part of that video. You know, just saying like these series deserve an English translation. So yeah, stick around for that. Alright, we've got Hyperinflation Volume 3. I really liked the first volume of Hyperinflation. This is also by Ivrea, or whatever. Ivrea, I think. Ivrea in Spanish. So yeah, I read the first volume of the series. I liked it quite a bit. It's super wordy. There was a lot of words, man. It's like there's a ton of text in this thing. Like this could have, like the dude could have just like made a light novel. You know what I mean? Given like how much text there is like on each page of the thing. But it's just that sort of a tale, you know, where there's just like a ton of dialogue, a ton of exposition and whatnot. But it does fit the narrative of this story, and the characters are like super entertaining. They're super I like reading them. I like seeing, you know, what's going to happen with the lead character, who's this young kid, whose sister, that girl right there, is taken by these. It's kind of like an indigenous sort of situation. Like they're indigenous people. Like these 2 are indigenous. The one kid who is the lead is indigenous, and they are like hunted and whatnot, and made slaves. And the lead has this ability to essentially like disrupt this flow of money, and he's able to produce money from his body. And when he does so, he like his goal with, you know, making money is to like literally like producing money from his own body is to try to upset the balance of the world. And I really like the way that it's going, you know, like hyperinflation like totally speaks to, you know, like the inflation of money, to try to like upset the scales of the world and, you know, turn it on its head and become super rich so that he can then, you know, influence a change and whatnot, and essentially try to save his own people. So there's a lot going on, and like I said, it's like super dialogue heavy, but the dialogue gives you a ton of the situation that he's in, and he's able to essentially like get out of it by, you know, playing the game, by playing chess, I guess, if you will, against these dudes that are playing like high level chess or whatever. It's a really good manga. Hopefully one day, you know, I don't know if it will ever get an English translation, but I really do hope that it does, because I've enjoyed it quite a bit. So I feel like other people are being deprived of the chance of getting to read, you know, something like Hyperinflation that may be, you know, into a story like this. All right, so we got GTO Volume 1, Volume 2 right there, and we've got Volume 3 right there. This is by Ivrea as well. I never saw the anime for this, but I did kind of watch like a little bit of an episode. This is one of those series that a lot of people hold to like a really high regard, and I would kind of flip through it just to kind of get an idea of it. Really like the artwork in it, so I'm definitely looking forward to starting it. Don't really know what it's about, but it looks like he's kind of like, I guess he's like a teacher. Kind of looks like a delinquent, and it's definitely like, I think he's in a school full of like delinquents. Kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, what was that movie, like Stand and Deliver or whatever, or, you know, like that one movie with one of the Buscemi's. I can't remember. I think it was like one of the Buscemi's or whatever, where like he goes to the school full of like bad kids, or like even like 187, you know, the film with Samuel L. Jackson. But yeah, I really don't know much about this series. other than this is a classic that a lot of people hold in like a pretty high regard. I guess kind of like a cult classic or whatever. So I picked up the first 3 volumes of it, and yeah, I mean, this is in Spanish. I'm really looking forward to starting it, and hopefully, I too become a big fan of it. And I've been wanting to pick up a lot more, just Spanish language manga. So yeah, let's see. Let's see how I feel about it. I'm definitely like, I almost cracked it open, but like I'm like on a schedule where like there's certain things like I really want to get read to get those videos out. So hopefully once like I have some downtime, I'll crack open volume 1 to see like, what all the hype is about with GTO. Alright, this is one of my favorite things that I own. I just got this pretty recently from a seller in Mexico. So this was shipped to me from Mexico. The GTO volumes and all those Ivrea volumes were shipped to me from Spain, from different sellers in Spain. So to those sellers, I say thank you very much for, being willing to ship to the US so that people like myself can collect manga series in Spanish. And this is a series that is in Mexican Spanish. This is Bestiarius. I love this box set, dude. It is so rad. It is an absolutely gorgeous box set. I did a video unboxing this thing, which is a really short video. And I've read the first volume of it. I don't know if I mentioned that yet or not in this video, but I've read the first volume of it. I absolutely loved the first volume, which is this volume right here. Looking forward to, continuing it and seeing what's going to happen next. I almost did jump into volume 2, which is this volume right here. But I stopped myself because like I'm always like on a schedule, dude, and I'm trying to like get a lot of stuff read for videos. But what I've been doing, is like since I've been taking, more breaks between videos, like to whereas I used to drop a video a week, now I'm kind of like dropping videos like bi-weekly. And what it's helped me do too is it's allowed me to kind of take a break. So it's kind of like allowed me to take a break, like between videos. So like, let's say I'm doing this video right now or whatever, but I didn't have to read anything for this video because this is just like my haul video. But if this were a video where like I read like 5 series or whatever, like hey, have you read, or like a currently reading video, what I would do is for like the next week is just read like 5 random volumes of manga that aren't for a video, just to kind of like help myself, catch up with a lot of stuff, because I've been picking up a lot of manga, and I've been like so set on this schedule where like I just keep reading for videos, that like I just don't read anything else unless it's for a video. So I've been forcing myself, after every video where like I read for that video, I've been forcing myself to sit down and read just like 5 random volumes of manga, like volume 2s, volume 3s, and whatnot, to try to just catch up on different series. And then once I've read those, then I go back and start reading for my next video. So that's the thing that I've been doing, just to kind of like get more overall reading done, even though it's not always, for videos. And I feel like it's working, it's definitely helping me get more stuff just read in general. And yeah, it does, the channel does suffer because of it, because I'm not able to drop a video every single week, but I'm okay with that, as long as I'm able to keep reading more of the stuff on the shelves and not just keep piling up manga that's maybe not going to get read. And that's unfortunate. I really don't want that. I want to be able to like consistently be just consuming the manga that I own and not just have it be, there for looks. Because I do read a lot of manga, and I'm always reading a lot of manga. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I'm always posting panels from the stuff that I'm reading. So it's something that I take pretty seriously, and I'm not doing it because, like I want to grow like a huge following or whatever. Like I really do care about this, and I hope that I've shown that, in the videos that I make, I hope that I've shown that I really do care, and that this isn't just like something that I'm trying to be like a clout chaser or whatever. But yeah, hopefully this one does get an English translation too, because I absolutely love the first volume, and like I really want to jump into volume 2, but it's gonna have to wait a little bit. I don't think I've talked about this yet in like a haul video. I'm pretty sure I received this year in, I think like January, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure I received this in January. I'm really hoping that I received it in January, because like I do not remember. But yeah, we got Death Metal Zombie Cop issue 1. Hopefully Philippa Smith does more of that. This is a self-release by Philippa Smith. he did a Kickstarter for this thing like forever ago, like 2018, 2019. I don't even remember anymore. But I'd supported it, and I do not regret supporting it because he is one of my favorite creators ever. And this is the first volume of this thing. I hope that he does more of it. I don't know like what he's got going on, you know, creatively. And I'd mentioned this series and just Philippa Smith in general in a Mangaka Spotlight video, and he does a podcast with a friend of his, DJ Five Duck, I think is the guy's name if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they have a podcast called like Cringemusume, which I definitely think you guys should all check out if you like Japanese stuff, as you obviously do if you're watching a video about manga. Those guys, you know, for the most part talk about like, you know, having lived in Japan, and they both speak Japanese, and it's a really entertaining podcast, and I'd love to see it, you know, like get some numbers up there. You know, I'd love to see it for it to grow, because it definitely deserves to grow, because they're like both super entertaining. I love watching it. Every time the new episode drops, like I'm right there watching it. And yeah, all around, I just want to support Philippa Smith. Like I said, I picked up MBQ because I want to show that dude love, and he's one of my favorite creators. Definitely inspired me to want to continue my pursuit of learning Japanese, and I think just all around, man, he's got like a lot of really cool stories, and so does his friend that he does the podcast with. They just both are really entertaining to watch. So yeah, I definitely want to support everything that this dude does. And if you want to know more about this thing, I talked about it in my Mangaka Spotlight video. So pretty much this dude right here is a zombie, but he's a zombie death metal. He's a death metal zombie cop, and this dude right here is like a rookie, and then she's like a vet who's been on the job for a really long time. But definitely check it out. Support Philippa Smith if you feel so inclined. I think he still has copies of this thing that you can pick up from his online store to show support for an independent creator. Alright, so the last thing that we're going to talk about is something that I won from a friend of mine. He when he hit 1,000 subs, he did a giveaway, and the way to win the giveaway is you had to guess what his favorite anime was, and I guessed correctly. I guessed that it was Trigun, because Trigun is also my personal favorite anime. The result of winning that giveaway by my really good friend Nerdcore is this Sandman omnibus right here. So this is what you won if you won his giveaway, and this thing is absolutely gorgeous, dude. I feel super lucky to have won. I haven't opened it yet, because I don't want to open it until like I'm actually gonna, you know, dive into it. And it's a big boy. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I do read comics. I on and off read Preacher by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon. I need to get back onto that as well. It's tough, dude. You know, like splitting up my time between a full-time job, and then like I come home and I try to read manga for videos. Then I got to edit the videos, and it's like super time consuming. But I love Sandman. Like I consumed the audiobook version of it on Audible twice. Like I listened to the audiobook twice, and then I started listening to the second audiobook, and then never finished it for whatever reason. But I'm really looking forward to starting this, because like I want to see it drawn. I want to see how it looks, you know, in art form, because like I for the most part like know the stories, you know, at least the first part of it, you know, from having, you know, listened to the audiobook twice. And for the most part it does, you know, kind of follow the same trajectory, because I'd started watching the Netflix show, and it definitely followed for the most part like the same, you know, trajectory that like the Audible version of it followed. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same deal with this right here. But to my boy Christopher Bishop, thank you so much, dude. I don't know if you're going to watch this far into the video or not, but thank you so much for this. It means the absolute world to me, man. I cherish it. I'm going to cherish it for the rest of my existence, however long that may be. That's it. That is all that I have for you. I hope that you have enjoyed our time together. This video got super duper long. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because like I never shut up. Like I talk and talk and talk and talk, that these videos end up just being absolutely massive, and then it ends up being a lot of work for me to edit them. But hey, you know what, it is what it is. I do these like once every couple of months. I hope that you have enjoyed our time together as much as I have. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I feel like I've said a lot already. So yeah, if there's anything here that you've read, please let me know what you think about it. If you got any thoughts or whatever on this video, do you like that I mentioned the publishers for the things that I talk about? Please let me know. Until next time we meet, please take care of yourselves. I hope that everyone you love is doing well and that everything you got going on in your life is for the best. Please take care.
Yo, it's himself, the Shadowrunners clique, aka Sleep All Out. Take you on a mental and live to one day, y'all. Sheets, y'all. Guns, y'all. Yo, who got the guns, who got the coke? Hustling them through like big punch cholesterol before he croak. Rest in peace, but a blessed peace and live to one day laying shoots. Rap over beats and tell wild stories, the mythology mystery. Choke on your own misery, fuck the word, the wild bunch. Yo, I asked him if this bike could punch. This shit made me lose my lunch. Bro grabbed the rocket, I said chill before he cocked it.